Tari, the bride of the spirit. Tari was a beautiful and lovely girl. She was kind, calm, and friendly. One morning, Tari got up early and went to the stream to fetch water. On her way, she met an elderly woman. "Good morning, Mama," she greeted the old woman, but the old woman did not answer her. Tari felt bad that the old woman did not answer her greeting, because in the village of Egwima, it was a bad omen for a person not to answer your greeting in the morning. However, Tari brushed off the bad feeling and went on to the stream. On getting to the stream, Tari was startled at the sight of a dry stream. Her heart panted at the sight of what she saw. Was today a sacred day? Where has the stream gone? She was confused. But just as she was about to go back and spread word of what she had seen, she was stopped by a voice. "Stop there." Tari's heart almost jumped out of her chest as she turned around to see who had stopped her. To her surprise, it was the same old woman that she had seen on her way to the stream. "Don't you know that it is forbidden for humans to come to the stream today?" the old woman asked. Tari could not utter a word as she stood shivering. "You humans never learn or keep to instructions," the spirit woman said to Tari. "For this you have done, you shall not return to the world of the humans, you shall remain with the spirit," the old woman said with a horrifying voice. Tari trembled at the words of the old woman, and began to plead. "Please, Mama, I am only an orphan, I didn't know that today was a sacred day of the gods. I'm sorry," she pleaded with tears rolling down her cheeks, but the old woman still insisted that Tari would not go back to the human world, and before Tari could tell what was happening, the old woman held her hand and started dragging her into the forest. Seeing that there was nothing she could do to plead her way out, Tari started singing and crying for other kind-hearted spirits to help her. "Kind-hearted spirits, I'm just an orphan, help me, save me, I'm a lonely orphan, in your kindness, help me." She cried and sang as the old woman continued to drag her, but no spirit came to her aid, so she continued to sing until the old woman dragged her to the entrance of the spirit world. But just as they were about to enter into the spirit world, a masculine voice stopped them. "Stop!" His voice broke through the silence. "She does not belong here," he said angrily. "Yes, but she came to the stream today, she was not supposed to be there," the old woman replied. "Let her go, I command you as the prince of the spirit world." Immediately, the old woman let go of her, but before she could say thank you, Tari mysteriously found herself at the door of her house. Tari, being an orphan, did not know who to tell about her encounter with the spirit world, so she continued to live a quiet life until one fateful day. In the heat of the afternoon sun, Tari heard a knock on her door. Tari was surprised, because as friendly as Tari was, she never had visitors. So, Tari went to open the door to see who had come to see her, but as she opened the door, there was nobody at the door. Tari looked around the place to see who it was that knocked on her door, but there was no trace of anybody, and neither were there any footprints to show that someone had been there. However, Tari was not scared. She thought maybe it was just her imagination, so she was not bothered about the knock on her door. But this strange occurrence continued for days, making Tari feel uncomfortable in her house. So, Tari decided to go and see the village chief priest, to know the reason behind the strange knocking on her door every afternoon. "Good afternoon, wise one," Tari saluted the chief priest. "Good afternoon, my daughter, what brings you to the shrine of Opubi?" the chief priest asked Tari. Then Tari told the chief priest about the strange knocking on her door every afternoon. The chief priest expressed shock, as such a thing had never happened in the village of Egwima. "Don't worry, my daughter, the gods are with you," the chief priest assured Tari. He told her to break 2 eggs in front of her house that night, that it would keep the spirits away. So that night, Tari broke 2 eggs in front of her house. Days passed and Tari did not hear the strange knocking on her door. She was so happy and she took some offering of yam to the priest to say thank you. But on her return from the shrine, Tari met a strange young man, dressed in princely attire, sitting in front of her house. "How may I be of help to you, stranger?" Tari asked the young man. "I want to be your friend," the strange man said to Tari. "Be my friend?" Tari chuckled. "But I don't even know you." She hesitated. But the man insisted on being her friend, saying that she would like him when she gets to know who he was. However, Tari did not accept to be his friend. She had never had a close friend. Why should she even consider having a man, not just a man, but a complete stranger as a friend? So, it was that this strange man continued to visit Tari day by day. Whenever he visited Tari, he would come along with so many gifts. Slowly, Tari began to enjoy the company of the man and their friendship grew strong. One day, Tari waited for her new friend from morning till night, but he did come to visit her. She was worried, she thought maybe something might have happened to him, but somehow she believed in her mind that he would be fine wherever he was. That night, Tari dreamt and saw herself getting married to a prince. In the dream, her would-be in-laws treated her kindly like no one else had ever treated. She felt at peace with them. And Tari thought that it was reality, until her dream was interrupted by a knock on her door. Tari reluctantly got out of her bed and went to open the door. To her surprise, it was her friend. "Why are you here so early?" Tari asked him. He ignored her question and rather asked her to let him into her house. "No, I can't let you into my house," she hesitated. "Let me in, please," he pleaded further. After a little hesitation, Tari finally let him into her house. Just like always, he came with lots of gift, but this time, he came with a proposal. "Marry me, Tari," he said authoritatively, but Tari refused, saying she cannot marry him unless he told her his name and where he had come from. For a moment, there was silence in the room. "I'll tell you my name, but I cannot tell you where I come from," the man said to Tari. Tari tried to convince him to tell her where he had come from, but she only succeeded in getting to know his name. "My name is Ebetim, Good Spirit," he told her. "Do not ask me further questions, please," he told her. Tari was unsettled, and after Ebetim had left, she sat down and thought over his marriage proposal. She thought about how lonely she had been all the years of her life. Ebetim was the only person that had ever genuinely cared for her. A mixture of feelings rushed through her body. She was uncertain, and at the same time she wanted to belong to a family. So after taking some time to think over Ebetim's proposal, she finally decided to marry him. The next day Ebetim came around as usual, but before he could say anything, Tari told him that she had accepted to marry him. But Tari had a problem. She did not have any family member that would take her bride price. She was accused of being a witch because her both parents died the same day she was born. And her uncle, who took care of her, died with his wife the same day she turned 16. So, no one went close to her house, even though she was very friendly. However, Ebetim cared less about it, and it baffled her. Tari was even more disturbed when Ebetim told her that his people do not care about who takes the bride price, but if she was really concerned about who was going to take her bride price, she should invite the chief priest to her house, on the day of their marriage, which would be in the next 2 days. Tari was excited about her oncoming marriage as she walked through the village to the shrine. "Nyor-o," she saluted as she got to the shrine, but this time, the chief priest acted strangely, as he bowed his head in homage to Tari. Tari was surprised. "Why are you bowing to me? I am Tari, I'm just an ordinary girl," she said to the priest. "I know, but in just 2 days, I'll be your servant," the chief priest said to her. Tari's mind skipped at the words of the priest. His words were just too strange, with deep meanings that only him understood. She was curious to know why he had bowed to her and even said such words to her, but the chief priest waved off her curiosity by simply asking her why she had come to the shrine so early. Tari immediately told the priest why she was there, and without hesitation, he agreed to be there for her that day. Everything seemed strange to Tari. Why did the chief priest suddenly honor her presence and did not even think twice before saying yes to her request? However, thoughts about being a beautiful wife and a good bride to Ebetim, the man who had loved her and wants to make her a complete woman by giving her a family of her own, dwindled her curiosity and nervousness. Finally, the day of the marriage came, and the chief priest and Tari sat in front of her house waiting for Ebetim and his people. They waited and waited, but Ebetim did not show up. Tari was already looking worn out. Even though her natural beauty glowed, she dressed up nicely for her marriage with some quality attires that Ebetim had previously gifted her. Tari got really tired of waiting and was about giving up hope of getting married or having a family of her own, when she raised her head and saw an entourage of royalty heading towards her house. The aura of the entourage attracted many onlookers, as they were shocked to see that Tari, whom they have rejected, have been blessed by the gods with such a wealthy and handsome prince. Tari could not believe her eyes as she gazed in awe. She remembered her dream of getting married to a prince. She never thought dreams came true so quickly, but hers came true quickly. Soon, the marriage was over and it was time for Tari to return with her husband to his kingdom, the place he had refused to tell her about. So, without wasting time, they set out on the journey to Ebetim's kingdom. But little did Tari know that the road to Ebetim's kingdom was through the stream, and immediately they got to the stream. All the family members of Ebetim stepped into the stream and vanished into the stream. Tari almost fainted at the sight of what she saw. She wanted to run, but Ebetim calmly held her and told her the truth. I am the prince of the spirit world that saved you. You were destined to die, because no one ever came to the stream on a sacred day and lived to tell the story. But if I married you, you can live in both worlds at will and become a goddess." On hearing the words of Ebatim, Tari was heartbroken that he wasn't completely honest about who he was with her, but she loved him and she was grateful to him for saving her life, so she decided to follow him to the spirit world. After all, he was the only one that showed her love and compassion, but in the human world and the world of the spirit. And so, she followed Ebatim to his world and became a goddess, and she turned her house in the human world to a tree with beautiful flowers. From then, she would occasionally visit the human world and healed the sick in her kindness and gave out blessings to those who were in need. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed the story, please drop a comment and like this video, as I look forward to sharing more stories with you.